Do you like the drumettes or the flats? I'm all about the drumette. Ryan likes the flats. That's why we're a match made in heaven. Wing heaven. Hey there, welcome back. Today we're gonna play a little game called Pinner or Loser, because as you know, the world of Pinterest is full of brilliant ideas, but some of them are worth pinning and well, some of them are not. Those are what we call the losers. So it was about 10 years ago and I was hosting a Super Bowl party, had a bunch of friends over and I wanted to serve chicken wings. And so I did them in the slow cooker, got this recipe off the internet thinking this is gonna be awesome. And they were horrible. Like they were just mushy, they were not flavorful, they were not good at all. So now that was probably just that recipe, but I want to return back to the world of slow cooker chicken wings and see if we can pull them off here today, make them a successful Super Bowl party appetizer. So with no further ado, I've got a recipe from the internet, pinned it from Pinterest. We're gonna see, is it a pinner or is it a loser? So the general consensus on most of the recipes I've seen out there is to start off with just some regular old chicken wings and stick them here in the slow cooker. So far so good, not too difficult. And then from there we want to make the sauce. So for this recipe we are going with a more barbecue flavor. Of course there's plenty of buffalo ones that I've seen out there, but I've just got some regular old barbecue sauce here. I particularly like this brand. It's by Weber, you know, the guys who do the Weber kettles. And then a half a cup of honey. So we're kind of doctoring up this barbecue sauce, right? Like it's already good on its own, but we're just gonna add a little extra flavor to it. So the honey, which may help with the stickiness, because I like a good sticky wing, right? And then we've got teaspoons worth of apple cider vinegar, teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and then a teaspoon of chili powder. And that's it. Well, okay, and a little salt too, because we need a little bit of salt. But I'm not gonna go too crazy on it. And then just stir it all together. Theoretically, this is our sauce. It looks like it makes a good amount, so it should cover what is about 3 pounds worth of wings. And then apparently all we gotta do is cover those wings up with that sauce. That sauce smells really good. It's got that nice little sweetness, little tanginess, just what I like in a barbecue sauce. Get all that good stuff on there. There we go. See? Okay, and then I'm gonna toss these. It didn't necessarily say to toss these, but that's where you gotta read between the lines of a recipe, right? And go your own way. All right, so I've got the sauce, got the wings. I don't know, guys. I am super curious to see if this works out, because again, when I tried doing crock-pot wings like 10 years ago, it was miserable failure, just the saddest wings you ever saw. So I don't know, I'm hopeful for this one. So we're gonna cover this up and then set it to low for 5 hours, or you could do it on high for 2. So obviously this is not a long cook time in as much as slow cookers go. You know, you look at some recipes and it's 6-8 hours. This is pretty short, which I think is gonna help so that these won't be literally falling apart, because I don't want fall off the bone wings. I just want properly cooked wings. So we're gonna let that rock and roll, and I will see you back here in about 5 hours. It's been about 3 hours and I came in and checked on these, and I'm gonna tell you right now, they are totally done. I do not wanna take these to 5 hours. 3 hours on low is plenty. So that is change number 1 to any recipes you might see. Although if there's one that says 3 hours, then they were correct. So now what I'm gonna do, because I do wanna crisp them up, because these are just, they're kind of soggy. They're not crispy. I like crispy wings, right? That's why we love deep frying them. So I'm gonna transfer them here to a baking sheet, which another recipe that I found on Pinterest. This is just gonna be like the ultimate mashup of Pinterest recipes for slow cooker wings. So I'm gonna take these out and put them on a baking sheet, and then I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and then I'm gonna stick these in there for about 10 minutes just to crisp up and get a little personality on them, because otherwise they are super sad wings. I would not eat these just like this right now. That would be a disservice to wings everywhere. Now, I don't know about you, but I personally love a nice saucy wing. Like when I go out for wings, guaranteed I need a whole stack of wet naps to clean up afterward, because there's gonna be sauce everywhere. It's like full contact sport. But right now, the sauce that has come off of these wings, I wouldn't even call this a sauce. It is way too thin and watery, and it's just gonna make what's hopefully gonna turn into crispy wings into a soggy mess. So I wanna turn these into more of a sauce, right? Give them some body, some thickness. So I'm gonna pull out the cornstarch, the good old cornstarch trick, and just take about a tablespoon's worth of cornstarch. I clearly do this a lot because I'm almost out of cornstarch. So take about a tablespoon of the cornstarch there, and then grab some of this sauce, about an equal amount of it, because you don't want to throw the cornstarch straight into the sauce because it's going to just end up clumpy. It'll be way too weird. It's not going to properly thicken it like you want it to. So I just mix those two things around together, and then I'm just going to add that into the rest of what will hopefully become a nice, rich, and sticky sauce to put on top of our wings. So I'm gonna go ahead and see how our wings are doing and see if we've achieved any success. Clearly the recipe as written is not a winner, but hopefully we can turn it into one. Hot wings coming through. Yes, they are hot. They came right out of the broiler. So, so far what I can see just on visual inspection, this did a pretty decent job of crisping these up. We look like we've got a nice little lacquer factor, and that the sweetness that was that sugar and that honey has done a good job of caramelizing. So hopefully we've got some good texture on those. Meanwhile, I took the sauce out of here and stuck it here in this little serving dish. You could certainly toss the wings in that. That would be great. But because it's just me hanging out here all by myself, I'm just gonna dip it and call it a day. So I wanna try these and see if these are as dramatic as 10 years ago. I can already tell you just on inspection, they already look a million times better than what I did back in 2007. But let's go ahead and do a little dip in the sauce. Ooh, nice color there, nice little coverage. Now, is that the best wing I've ever had in my entire life? No. I've had lots of really great wings, mostly at restaurants. But this one does pretty well. And I can see the advantage of the slow cooker because that 3 hours on low did a really great job of breaking down some of the connective tissues, really making it nice and tender and juicy, did a great job with that meat. Now, what it does lack though is that crispy factor on the outside. You know, even though we stuck it in the oven there for about 10 minutes, it did a great job of kind of adding some caramelization, but it doesn't have that really crispy effect that I just go gaga for. But it's got some good flavor. I do like the sauce, but in terms of cooking that chicken, that was perfect. I would not do it more than 3 hours on low. 3 hours on low was perfect. Now, if you had some larger wings, that might be a part of the problem, but 3 hours on low is just right. So now the only question that remains, is this a pinner or is this a loser? And well, I would say based on the modifications we made, keeping the timing within 3 hours on low and then adding the cornstarch to the sauce, this turned into a total pinner. I would recommend this to anybody for the game day spread. This is awesome, but just make sure to follow those directions. I've got them all linked in the description box below so you can grab that. But if you've got any other questions or ideas on how to improve this recipe, please feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you for stopping by, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe because I'll be back here next week throwing some other sort of grub around in this ongoing construction of a kitchen. But with that, thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the big game, and I'll see you guys later, okay? Bye!